Calypso, the Sweet Nymph, Book 5. The first books of the epic, books 1 through 4, tell about Odysseus' son Telemachus. Telemachus has been searching the Mediterranean world for his father, who has never returned from the 10-year Trojan War. When we first meet Odysseus in Book 5 of the epic, he is a prisoner of the beautiful goddess Calypso. The old soldier is in despair. He has spent 10 years, 7 of them as Calypso's not entirely unwilling captive, trying to get home. The goddess Athena has supported and helped Odysseus on his long journey. Now she begs her father Zeus to help her favorite, and Zeus agrees. He sends down the messenger god Hermes to Calypso's island to order Odysseus released. It is important to remember that, although Calypso is not described as evil, her seductive charms, even her promises of immortality for Odysseus, threaten to keep the hero away from his wife, Penelope. Hermes heard these words. At once he fastened on his feet the sandals of everlasting gold with which he flies on breath of air across the sea and land. He seized the wand he uses to enchant men's eyes to sleep or wake as he desires, and flew. The god flashed bright in all his power. He touched Pieria, then from the sky he plunged into the sea and swooped between the waves, just like a seagull catching fish, wetting its whirring wings in tireless brine. So Hermes scudded through the surging swell. Then finally he reached the distant island, stepped from the indigo water to the shore, and reached the cavern where the goddess lived. There sat Calypso with her braided curls. Beside the hearth a mighty fire was burning. The scent of citrus and of brittle pine suffused the island. Inside she was singing and weaving with a shuttle made of gold. Her voice was beautiful. Around the cave a luscious forest flourished, alder, poplar, and scented cypress. It was full of wings. Birds nested there but hunted out at sea. The owls, the hawks, the gulls with gaping beaks. A ripe and verdant vine hung thick with grapes, was stretched to coil around her cave. 4 springs spurted with sparkling water as they laced with crisscross currents intertwined together. The meadow softly bloomed with celery and violets. He gazed around in wonder and joy at sights to please even a god. His heart amazed at all he saw. At last he went inside the cave. Calypso, the splendid goddess, knew the god on sight. The deathless gods all recognize each other, however far away their homes may be. But Hermes did not find Odysseus. Since he was sitting by the shore as usual, sobbing in grief and pain, his heart was breaking. In tears he stared across the fruitless sea. Hermes tells Calypso that she must give up Odysseus forever. Now we are directly introduced to Odysseus. Notice what this great warrior is doing when we first meet him. Acknowledging the edict sent from Zeus, the goddess went to find Odysseus. She found him on the shore. His eyes were always tearful. He wept sweet life away in longing to go back home, since she no longer pleased him. He had no choice. He spent his nights with her inside her hollow cave, not wanting her, though she still wanted him. By day he sat out on the rocky beach in tears and grief, staring in heartbreak at the fruitless sea. The goddess Calypso approaches Odysseus and said, "Poor man, stop grieving, please. You need not waste your life. I am quite ready now to send you off. Using your sword of bronze, cut trunks and build a raft. Fix decks across and let it take you across the misty sea. I will provide water, red wine, and food to stop you starving, and I will give you clothes and send a wind to blow you safely home, if this is what those sky gods want. They are more powerful than me. They get their way." And with those words, the goddess quickly turned and led the way. He followed in her footsteps. The chair that Hermes had been sitting on was empty now. Odysseus sat there. The goddess gave him human food and drink. She sat and faced godlike Odysseus, while slave girls brought her nectar and ambrosia. They reached to take the good things set before them, and satisfied their hunger and their thirst. The goddess queen began, "Odysseus, son of Laertes, blessed by Zeus, your plans are always changing. Do you really want to go back to that home you love so much? Well then, goodbye. But if you understood how glutted you will be with suffering before you reach your home, you would stay here with me and be immortal. Though you might still wish to see that wife you always pined for. And anyway, I know my body is better than hers. Hers is. I am taller, too. Mortals can never rival the immortals in beauty." So Odysseus with tact said, "Do not be enraged at me, great goddess. You are quite right. I know my modest wife Penelope can never match your beauty. She is a human. You are deathless, ageless. But even so, I want to go back home. And every day I hope that day will come. Odysseus builds a raft and sets sail. The sea god Poseidon raises a storm and destroys the raft. It is only with the help of a sea nymph that Odysseus arrives, broken and battered, on the island of Scheria. There he hides himself in a pile of leaves and falls into a deep sleep. He lay down inside and heaped more leaves on top, as when a man who lives out on a lonely farm that has no neighbors buries a glowing torch inside black embers to save the seed of fire and keep a source. So was Odysseus concealed in the leaves. Athena poured down sleep to shut his eyes, so all his painful weariness could end.